What's going on? It's your man Tim Jackson with the No More OGs podcast. I am your host. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, and to share this podcast with everyone you know. I'm super excited about today's guest. Now, I'm going to probably end up editing this out, but knowing me, I probably won't because Will, I don't know your last name. Okay. So
I'll introduce myself.
Okay.
Well,
so then what I'm going to do then is this, and we ain't editing this out because this ain't about perfection. This is about having a good time.
About being real.
I got my guy Will here. I met Will at an event that I did with Black Men's Black Wealth Renaissance and Black Men's Wear, and I watched this brother. I watched him work. I don't think I've ever seen anyone so focused on ensuring that the job was done efficiently, effectively, but to your standard. And you know me, y'all know I study people. Me and my wife, we go to the mall sometimes just to people watch, right? And so I watched him.
I find my staff.
Man, listen. Yeah. And I say, you know what? This is somebody I need to have a conversation with. So without further ado, I'm going to let Will introduce himself, man. Tell the audience who you are.
So my name is, that's my legal name, is Sir William Haggins IV.
Okay.
It's that old money.
William Haggins.
Not the fourth. Not bougie, and the Sir is there too. Just have a long history of names. So yes, I am a senior event producer. There are levels to this. Hey, people call me an event planner because I'm not. So the levels are, you can be an assistant event coordinator, event planner, event manager, and then senior event manager, and then event producer, and then senior event producer. And that's where I'm at.
You know what's so funny? And listen, I know what you mean because I'm a real estate broker. And I have to, when people say, hey, man, I'm looking for a realtor, a real estate agent, I let them know up front, I'm a real estate broker. There's levels to this.
There's levels.
You know? There's your whole
respect the level.
Put some respect on my name.
It's been 10 years I've been doing this as my own company, but I grew up in this. My mother owned a banquet hall, so I actually grew up in this business since birth. So that's why I've been doing it for a very long time.
You know, it's funny because a lot of times when you get around people, you don't really know who they are. And that's why I've learned how to just get around people sometimes. Well, not sometimes, all the time, and just shut the fuck up and kind of observe. Because one thing I noticed about you, Will, is that one, you don't, you'll help people. Your thing is, I'm going to get what I'm going to get. What's for me, what's not for me, what's not for me. If you have something that you're good at that I feel like I can point you in the right direction, I will. And you've done that specifically for me. I ain't going to say no names of who you've given me context to, but when I reached out to you for something very specific, you wasn't on that, you know.
And within moments, you know, saying oblige. Like I was like, okay, cool, because I've never been a person that, I'm not a gatekeeper. I think there's so many problems with our race is that crabs in the barrel, that if in my situation, my hookup, I can't share it. I am not inferior to anybody. So just because I may have a connection, you can't do anything like me. So I'm not inferior of that. I'm not scared of giving you a connect because I also have that connect, because you're going to do your thing and I'm going to continue to do mine.
Let's put a pin right there, because a lot of people are going to miss that. You said that you're not a gatekeeper.
Yes.
I tell people all the time, and I always joke, I say, if you know somebody that got into real estate between 2009 to about 2018, and they're black and they live in Dallas, I probably helped them in some way, form, or fashion, right? And there's so many people that came through, and they would ask for my help, and I would give them help, and I would tell them, hey, you know what, man, we would be so stronger if our numbers were a little bit better. Come over here and work with me. Let's partner together. And people could never see the benefit of that. So they would take everything they learned and go use it somewhere else, and it would always fail or it wouldn't materialize. Yeah. But let's talk about this gatekeeper, because you said something that people are going to miss. What's a gatekeeper in your opinion?
So in my opinion, gatekeeper is someone who withholds information from other people. So they try to keep it themselves so that they can seem to be more valuable to other individuals. So if there's an experience, a connection, a reference, or what have you, they rather keep it themselves instead of sharing it with somebody else so they can seem like they're the top dog.
Oh, shit, I run across that so much.
In layman's terms. Like that's in layman's terms. Like
in Tim terms, a whole ass nigga.
Right.
Now, you know what's so funny is that, you know, I always call Dallas the home of the $30,000 millionaire, but also the land of the gatekeepers, because, you know, when I look at the people who are winning in Dallas, none of them are from Dallas. None of them are from Dallas. When I look at everyone who's doing some dope shit,
that's
I would say 80% of them are from out of town. Is that fair? Instead of saying none, I don't want to put everyone.
No, yeah, I would say the majority. Let's say majority.
Yeah.
And side note, today's my birthday. I don't know if you told me.
Happy birthday, man. I was going to say it, man. Wait.
Pause.
Will been celebrating. He been letting us know on social media that his birthday was coming for the last 2 or 3 days.
I don't even do that, though. No, I'm not even. I don't do a countdown. I've been out the country enjoying my birthday for like 2 weeks, but I'm not a person that do a countdown. Like, but the day of, I'm going to let you know.
This is the most Scorpio shit we going to hear all day long. He didn't technically do a countdown.
I didn't do a countdown.
I knew 2 days ago Will's birthday was coming up.
Yes, it's like subliminal hints, but it's not like, bam, countdown, it's my birthday. Yeah. But I would be like, oh, that date, it happened to be my birthday on that day.
Yeah.
Subliminal.
But let's talk about that. Those people that I was telling you about. Like, I say that to say that a lot of people in Dallas who are in position to help people typically don't help people. Okay,
we got to quantify that. Is it people or is it our people?
Definitely our people. Okay. Let's speak to the black community because we black.
Making sure.
And I know y'all know I don't have no problem with cleaning house. I feel like if I can't clean my own house, I can't help you build yours, right?
Because I just want to make sure we understand what we're talking about.
Because, we understand what we're talking about. Okay. When I say people, I'm talking about us's,
gotcha.
Right? A lot of us black people who have aspirations, specifically from Dallas, we always have to connect with either people who are not in our race or people from out of town.
Okay.
Who come and figure it out. Because I always say, typically when you're from out of town, people are more welcoming to you because there's no familiarity. They don't know where your mama stayed. They don't know your cousins.
100%.
They didn't know you got into a fight in the third grade.
I wouldn't say that's Dallas. I would say that's just everywhere. Yeah. Because again, like I said, I was successful. I'm from Michigan, Detroit area. So I was successful there doing a lot of large events too. But when I moved here, it was more receptive. And I think, and because again, like I said, I'm not a gatekeeper, so, and the people who we know mutually, I would go to their functions, and I'm going to talk my shit. If it ain't right, I'm going to talk it. But the thing about me is, I'm going to pull you to the side and say, hey, let me show you how to make your stuff better.
Y'all, we setting up the cameras, right? Now, you know he is the executive. What'd you say the title was?
It's senior event producer.
Senior event producer. So we setting up the cameras and shit. I'm cutting the lights on. Will says, bring that camera just a little bit closer. So I start bringing it in. I thought it was perfect. Let me tell you how good this dude is. This dude took his right foot and adjusted the thing. And he said, that's it right there.
That's it right there.
But even in that moment, I realized that there's never a time where you can't be taught.
Right.
There's never a time
and adjusted.
And you can't be adjusted. But another thing is, with all the success that we receive or that we achieve, we still have to be willing to give out that feedback or offer someone a bit of advice or even help when we see that they're serious about their craft.
And also to be able to receive that feedback too. Like I still say it. I've done a lot of productions, big name stuff, but I'm like able to listen to other people and be like, hey, how can I make that better? I don't always look at stuff as 100% win. Like I never do. My team get mad at it because I don't celebrate the moment. But for me, it's like there's always something that can be done better. And I feel like if I strive for that, then everyone else should as well. Like, I know my shit be good. It'd be great. Like, to the average person, I look at who I'm trying to impress. And those people, I'll be like, okay, God, because I know you bring a nigga off the street, come to my stuff, he going to be impressed because it's not plastic linen on the table. But I'm talking about those individuals who go to those millionaires and billionaire clients that always go to high-end stuff. I want them to be impressed.
He said they going to be impressed because it's not plastic linen. But let's talk about that, man. So I went to the Black Academy of Arts and Letters yesterday. Shout out to the staff over there. Man.
You saw Marsha? Who you talked to?
I talked to her today.
Okay.
Very, very, very nice lady. And then I spoke with the box office manager over there and then the gentleman who runs the facility altogether. But when he was giving me the tour.
You can drop my name. They give you discounts.
Okay. All right. When they were giving me the tour, he made sure to point out how clean the facility was, right? And everywhere we went, he said, look how clean it is. And as we talked about a little bit later, we talked about how the expectation when we come to do business with each other, that cleanliness is a big thing. And that's one of the things that people complain about when they're doing business with black ran companies, is that it's not up to par. It doesn't pass the eye test from a aesthetic look. You know what I'm saying?
Like, but you go into their house and it's not clean. And that's what I don't like about our people. We're so quick to judge, but don't live clean ourselves.
I got you.
And that's the thing. So it's like, if you're gonna be that way, be judgy, cool, but make sure you live in that way too. That's all I'm saying.
And I talk about this a lot of time on the show. You know, we have to. We'll go to a big corporation. I'm not gonna say any names. I know you work with a lot of people, and we will take their shitty customer service every paycheck.
Oh, absolutely.
But then we'll go do business with our own people.
And we want the world.
We want the world, and if something is off, it's, oh, fuck that, I ain't working with black people.
And we blasting it. We blasting it not only to our friends, we're blasting on social media, we're blasting stuff. So yeah, I don't never understood that. Like just like for me, I know when I go to McDonald's, my expectation level of McDonald's is at that level of McDonald's, right? I'm not expecting 5-star service or anything like that. If I want to pay for that, I have the means to go to a 5-star restaurant.
Yeah, we can go to Chick-fil-A.
You know what I'm saying? No. I go to a 5-star sit-down restaurant if I'm expecting that level of service. Yeah. So my expectations have to meet where I'm at. But it's like, that's why. Yeah.
Well, let's dive into that because we talked about the gatekeeper. Why do you feel like our expectations for one another is so high and so demanding and so non-forgiving?
I think because we're haters. I feel like as a people,
you're gonna have to talk about that because I'm all about accountability, but I don't want to kick nobody in the ass today. Explain what that means.
I feel like when I say
kick nobody in the ass, I'm talking about our community.
Yeah,
right? Will, he taller than me. He's from Detroit. He look like he can throw them things too. We're not trying to move no furniture. But
yeah, I feel like we are haters because I feel like we try to find something wrong with our own stuff.
Why though?
It just, again, it starts from that pick-me slavery mentality, that crabs in the barrel, all the type of stuff. So we want to be the one, and when we're not the one, we have to pick apart other people's stuff who are the one. And I think that's ultimately why we do that, because we're just trying to find a reason to hate.
Dead silence. So I have a theory on the crabs in the barrel. I agree with you 100% on that.
Okay.
I always tell people, when you think about the crabs in the barrel, the first question we should always ask is who put the crabs in the barrel? And what does the barrel represent? The barrel represents death. If you're a crab in the barrel, you're getting ready to be delivered to the slaughterhouse, right? So typically, in any situation where it's life or death, you're going to fight for survival. The crab's natural habitat is the ocean, yada, yada, yada. With that being said, we have an abundance of access to information. We have abundance of access to everything we need, yet oftentimes in our communities, we still choose to subscribe to old ways of thinking, old ways of doing, and expecting someone else to come and save the day for us, specifically the people that we say that are disenfranchising us. Like, what is it going to take for us to, and I'm not going to say 100% collectively because that's impossible, but for a great percentage of us to finally say, you know what, man, fuck all that, man. This shit is on me. Because it's been on you. Like
it's been on me.
You moved to anybody who relocates to another city is literally putting their fate in their own hands because you're going somewhere where you don't really know people and you have to stand on your own shit. And
I think, and I tell anybody, if you want to really identify the strength that's inside of yourself, move somewhere outside your ecosystem. Move away from your comfort zone because it's going to force you to make it. And I think, like I said, like when I came here, not doing any events, no one knew about, in Detroit, I had it all on lock. All the big stuff was on lock. And then when I came here, it was like I had to literally create a brand and sell it to people and people to know, like, and get somebody to buy in it for one. I just need to be like, just let me show you one event that I can do. And I know from there, anybody who attended this event, I'm good. That's exactly what happened. So that was in December of last year.
How long you been here?
I just moved here. I've been here like less than 2 years.
Wait, no. Fuck all that.
Yeah,
let's talk about that and keep that, pin that.
Okay.
You've been in Dallas for 2 years?
Yep.
And you've been in Dallas for 2 years doing the level of events that you've been doing.
And I didn't even say that because when COVID happens, the reason I moved here is because of COVID.
I was going to say that, right?
Yeah.
Because 2 years was COVID.
As I said, so I moved here during COVID because my whole year was booked. I had Forbes, 30-something minute in Africa and in Prague. I had Boston Marathon. I had auto shows, Essence. I had a whole bunch of stuff. And then when everything was there and then everything like collapsed with no events, I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? So I just pivoted and said, okay, I'm moving to Texas.
Because shit was still open.
It was, like I said, and we had a break. We had to shut down in Michigan. Like, it was shut down. So I moved to Texas, and then I was like, what am I do? So I was like, okay, I was good with saving money. So I didn't do anything. I moved here June 2020. I didn't do anything until September 2021. So during that time, I was like, well, maybe I just get my real estate license. So I ended up getting it. My first event that I went to start promoting myself as a real estate agent, hey, I'm Will, people was like, what else would you do before? And I'm like, well, I used to do these events. What type of events? Well, I've done Super Bowl, I've done, And then like...
Wait. No, I told you there's going to be some Scorpio shit happening on this podcast. You just said, I've done some events. The Super Bowl. What kind of shit is that?
I know. So I'm real humble, but I'm not. Like
humble brag.
Right.
Humble brag.
A slight brag. I'll be like, But yeah, so like I've done, and then people hear those type of names of events, and then they all like, oh wow. So and then from that function, I booked my first event, and the rest I have not done anything real estate, which is terrible. But literally that first function I went to, I booked my first event, and literally this year 2022 has been absolutely crazy. I do all the events for Deep Ellum, West End. I do, like I said, so many like Paramount Studio. I do events for so many different clients. And then next year, I can't talk about the ones that are in the process, but there's so many big names that's in Dallas that I'm doing for next year for 2023.
One, it's not a bad thing that you're not selling real estate, because I always tell people, if you ever need to make money, get a real estate license. But if that's not what you about, focus on what you about.
Yeah.
You can always go out there and sell a house in Texas, right? But that clearly wasn't your purpose. It wasn't your passion. But mentally, you said, I'm gonna have to do something to make some money. So let me do that. And I'm cool with that hustle. Like,
and working, like I said, I think a lot of people was like, because I had because when you naturally are an entrepreneur, you're selling yourself anyway. I'm just
all day long.
I'm just selling houses versus selling events versus selling da 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 da. So it was like,
whoa. People are gonna miss that. They're gonna miss that. You're selling yourself.
Right.
It doesn't matter what the product is. It's all about you presenting that product to the person who's consuming it. And I have to explain it to people, like in real estate. So many people feel real estate is a revolving door. There's a saying that 33% of the people are coming into real estate, 33% of people are actually working, and 30% of people are leaving.
Excellent.
Right?
Yep.
Because when people come in, they don't realize it. It's a sales job. It's 100% sales, and a lot of people don't even have the personality. Not knocking nobody.
No, you can knock it. It's the truth, and I think that's what we don't let people know as much as it is a personality. And I think even for me, like I said, I started in sales. I have a degree in finance first, and then I worked for a bank, and then I was selling investments and da-da-da-da. That's my background. And then I went from there. Got bored with that. I ended up doing in-home remodeling sales, just because I wanted to perfect my sales. If you go to somebody's house, which is crazy, and they think they'll get an estimate just for a window, let's say, right? And then you walk out that house with $100,000+ contract doing windows, siding, roofing, da-da-da-da-da. That is how you sell. People, you go in the house, they're not expecting to get anything from you. We're just getting to get an estimate for one window, $400 window, and you walk out with $100,000 sale. I had an 80% closing rate. So, and I knew that, I was good at this. So, and I was I needed to sharpen those skills in order to do what I wanted to do. So anytime clients sits in front of me, I know they're buying, I call it the fourth effect. I'm gonna use my fourth. I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use my sir. I'm gonna use my fourth. My name, my company.
I didn't know your name was really Sir. I said, look at this dude over there.
Oh no. So I'm gonna use either. That's why my name, my company is Sir Fourth. So it's I'm gonna use it, and I sit with clients. It's and I not only you're going to get this experience when you meet me at first, but you're also going to get that experience during the actual event itself. So it's and I like to layer those experiences, and that's what people get. Because again, there's tons of people who do events, right? I said, as I tell people all the time, just because you take pictures doesn't make you a photographer. Just because you know how to play music doesn't make you a DJ. Just because you can, put events together doesn't make you an event producer. There's layers to this shit. And it's and it comes with things you have to know what you're doing. And it's that wow factor that comes with it. And personality is what it is. You can't really teach personality.
Not at all.
Like I said, but personality is what it is. Because again,
I call it it. I said that's the it factor. And I'm always talking to my son. His name is Will.
No, so we love him already.
I bet. But I always talk to him because he gets in trouble at school a lot for talking.
That was me. Right? A5s. A5 citizenship was worse than the A.
So in Texas we do a T, talking about your shit.
Okay.
And I used to get in trouble for that. But then as I grew older, like literally me being able to communicate and make people feel good about themselves is what made me who I am, right?
Yeah.
And so I try my best to not be too hard on him about that because I understand that's his gift. But I also understand that within specific settings, people who don't have that gift will always find a way to extinguish that gift by making you feel like your gift is a curse.
Yeah.
Like literally, I had a conversation today, and I don't give a fuck if they watch it. With members at his school who I feel like be doing a little petty shit because, when it comes down to certain kids, things are enforced, and when it comes down to other kids, they're not. And if
the crazy part is we know what you're saying without you even saying it.
Of course, you know what I'm saying.
Because we all lived it.
And then they look at me. They see all the tattoos. Right. I guess they don't realize I have a fucking master's degree. You know what I'm saying? Like my background is in education. My wife is an educator. I've taught at every level, whether it be education and adult education. I understand patterns. I can talk to you about Piaget's model of learning, all that shit. But I'll never get the benefit of the doubt. You just walk into a room. It's until I come into the conference with my damn class ring on the suit that people realize, or them furthermore ass emails that people realize, no, we're not. You know what I'm talking about? Notwithstanding, right? So I say that to say this, Will. And then I want to segue into what you really, really do. Why do people need to? Well, let me see how I can rephrase this. Personality is going to really just make or break you, right?
100%.
Why is it important for people to focus on their strengths, the strengths in their personality, and not try to build up weaknesses that are never going to be built up because that's not who they are? Does that make sense? What I'm asking?
I get you. I follow. So. I think that's important because once you figure out what it is that you're good at, you can capitalize on those things. You can hire people for the things that you aren't good at.
Somebody else did it. Somebody else is. That's why I'm bringing people like him on here. So y'all won't think I'm just, beating y'all upside the head all the time. You said capitalize on what and do what?
Capitalize on those strengths and then hire people for your weaknesses. And I think that's always been my motto. I'm the first person, and like I said, I'm very transparent and very humble. I do a lot of things well, but it's a lot of things I don't know or not good at. Yeah. So as I say, I have a team and I make sure they do it, or I get people, like I said, who are good at, because I have visions. I know from an event perspective how I want it. Can I talk that IT technical talk? Absolutely not. Right? Do I have people who can? Absolutely. So I bring them into the rooms and say, okay, they understand what we're trying to do. This is what I want. I sketch it out. I want to look like this. And then they could talk that 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, whatever, all them codes, stuff like that to them.
Transparent moment. I actually like doing like videography stuff. Okay. A friend of mine ran for political office about 5 years ago. He was like, hey, man, can you help me with some political videos? I was so excited. I helped him with the videos. He ran them, and then all these politicians started reaching out to me like, hey, can you do my video too? And I was just doing it for fun. But then it became a job, right? Mm-hmm. And so what I recently did, even in this, with the reels that people are going to see, is I've hired someone literally, hey, here's the video. I want a video for 1 minute from this mark to this mark, this mark, this mark. Excuse me. And I thought it was going to cost me a lot of money to do that. I thought they weren't going to do it good enough or well enough, should I say. That was literally the best thing that I did in my business. It freed up literally
see that part right there, freed up. And I think that's where we want to take on so much stuff and we don't have time to, but we have something that frees up to give to somebody else and we can do something else we need to be doing, make more money.
Bro, it freed up like 10 hours a week.
See, that's like, yeah, see.
And when I always tell people, know what your hourly rate is. When I computed my hourly rate,
what is your hourly rate?
Man, we ain't gonna continue that. It's insulting to some people.
A transparent moment.
It's insulting to some people.
Show me how I need to calculate my rate.
I'm about a G out. Okay, and I'm serious about that.
No, I already understand.
You know what I'm saying? Whenever I sit down with people and we do consultations, my average consultation is about $5,000.
Okay.
And you know what I'm saying? If you're serious and you want to stick to a certain program, then it turns into $10,000.
Okay. So you give me a 5-hour consultation.
Essentially.
Okay.
Yeah. But the checklist, what you doing during that time, like the task that I give you is going to sustain you for years.
Okay.
Right? Because I'm giving you exactly what not to do.
Yeah.
Right? So if y'all want to book your boy, now
and that's the thing too, like,
and I don't even advertise that.
Right. And I feel like that thing too, I don't know if it's young, if it's black, I don't know, but we will not listen to our elders or people who are more experienced in something, and we rather make the same mistakes ourselves. I don't understand that. Like, I try to give the game to so many people. I really do, because I don't want them to go through what I went through and make the same mistakes, but they still want to make the same mistakes. I don't understand that pride. What is that? Is that pride? Is that ignorance?
It's definitely pride. So I always talk about, my attorneys. I have an attorney for everything. And when I started growing my real estate company, I modeled my real estate company after a law firm. You see the cheesy commercials during the day, call this, such and such, right? But they're very strategic in how they place themselves in front of you. And then I realized by doing that, when I had an attorney come into my office and rent space for me, I had an in-house attorney, like she specialized in two things. Then I realized, well, damn, like that's the same thing in real estate. You got your commercial, you got your all this stuff. Yeah. And rarely do people dibble and dabble. So I said, well, how can I, start figuring out things for my business? So then I learned I needed a business attorney who handled the LLC portion, the person that handled the copyright and the trademark portion. You need somebody if you're gonna sue. Like literally, there's so many different aspects of law. We have a nonprofit, so we need to have a criminal attorney on deck in case the kids get in trouble. I needed a real estate attorney to draw docs up for me for real estate, and none of those attorneys dabble in the other field.
Yep.
So it's about finding what you're good at and sticking to it. And all those attorneys are extremely successful. I don't know how we got on that. But
that's what I'm trying to segment back to that. I was like, wait, we were talking about we were talking about how people don't take the advice from others and continue to make the same mistakes.
So I don't. Yeah. So essentially, what I'm saying is, if I have a specific problem, I reach out to a specific person. And too often within our community, if I'm trying to start a business, I'm going to call that cousin who don't own no business, who don't have a desire to have a business, who ain't never had a business, say, what you think about this? Right? And I always tell people, you guys, the idea is the validation. Once that idea comes in your head, that's all the validation you need. Stop picking up the motherfucking phone, calling people who wasn't given that idea, and get on the goddamn phone with an attorney or somebody who understands this shit. Pay them a couple of $100. An average attorney is $150, $200 an hour. If you want to get the big guys, it's going to maybe $500 to $1,000. The more you pay, the better advice you're going to get. But pay those people the advice and stop asking your stepdaddy who don't give a fuck about starting no business,
but don't know how to start a business. That's the thing. Like, don't have a business. Like, why would we even solicit the type of advice from someone who doesn't have anything? It's like, that's just pure ignorance.
That's why athletes go broke. They get that first round draft pick, millions of dollars, and then everybody around them who's never had anything going on for themselves, who wants to live their dreams with them. Hey man, give me $10,000 to start a car wash. Hey, give me $100,000 to start a club.
That's that. I think that's that guilt. I think, so I was in Seattle. My best friend, I was visiting him.
What part of Seattle were you?
He stays in Tacoma.
Okay.
Yeah, he stays in Tacoma.
That's where my uncle lives.
Okay, so does live in Seattle. There, you got to make some money. So does very well for himself, him and his wife. So we were talking about how, because some of his coworkers, they all make, almost 300-some thousand. So he was saying 300,000 for his white coworker versus his 300,000 are not the same 300,000.
Absolutely not.
Because his 300,000, he's sending money back home to mom.
He's a patriarch.
He got a sister, she got to help out. That 300,000, that white person, they parents gave the down payment for helping them to buy that house.
Help pay for the wedding.
Help pay for all this type of stuff. And I was just like,
why we don't talk about that enough though, bro? Like, why don't we talk about that?
It's so true though. So it's like, even though we are doing so much better, like I said, I think all my friends, my close friends do very well for themselves. But it's like, again, all of us are still helping and having to take what we make and give it to this person, give it to that person, give it to, just like some of the basketball player. It's that guilt that we feel because if we made it, now we feel like we have to do something for the people around us, which would then put us in a bad situation.
Well, they're going to call us some elitists. But here's the thing.
You had DeAndre on here before, so I'm sure.
Oh, his episode dropped today.
Oh, okay. He's an elitist too.
But here's the thing, bro. I'm all for group economics within the family structure, but everyone has to buy in.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be the one that's taking care of everything and you guys riding my back, because when shit falls apart for me, it's gonna fall apart for you. Like, case in point, me and my sister, and she doesn't mind me sharing this story, like me and her did the $10,000 challenge together.
Okay.
We put up $10,000 into a bank account, and now we're gonna take that money and invest it somewhere else, right? I've also done that with two separate friends, right? Like, you have to create an economy within the economy. For Mother's Day, my wife and I bought our mothers a will and a trust. Like, we planned their estate for Mother's Day.
See, but you talking about something different, because the people you talking about are all aligned with you. Y'all coming in at $10,000 each. Y'all both did the trust. You're not talking about you putting up your $9,999 and she put in $1. Where's those examples at?
No. I'm glad you said that
because I'm like, it sounds like those sound a little bit different.
So you remember at the event that you produced when I was talking about the Cowboys, when I said instead of sitting around talking about those Cowboys, and you saw how the crowd just went nuts, like, oh, don't talk bad about the Cowboys. I said essentially what I said, everyone, was that during Thanksgiving you need to start talking about money more. You know, between those commercials, like talk about credit, talk about money, talk about how we as a family can buy grandma, grandpa's, or our aunt's house that's sitting over there in the hood where the taxes ain't been paid on them, or she's getting ready to do a reverse mortgage. How can we put our money together so that we can own that property? And I said, instead of sitting up talking about them sorry ass Cowboys, and the crowd erupted.
And let me put a pin on that. Well, now elaborate. The fact that the only time people pay attention are people is when you talk about sports references. That to me is a problem in itself.
It's insulting.
It is, because
because how many times have you been asked sitting in first class? You know where I'm going with this, right? You know where the fuck I'm going with this.
How you know I'm sitting in first class though?
Because one, you posted it.
I didn't post a picture. I said
you said 80% of the time.
80% I do.
I fuck with you because I'm like, he gets it. Because literally, if you have a certain credit card, they'll upgrade you for free.
And I also said put on their upgrades too. I didn't say purchase.
You said upgrade. Oh, I understood the language, right? He said, how the fuck you know I follow your post? But what I'm saying is that as a 6'2", what are you, 6'2"? As a 6'2", athletically built man sitting in first class, how often has a motherfucker asked you, who do you play for?
So on my way back from Seattle, the lady next to me, first thing, because it was a guy who put his bag, who's in coach in our section, right? So she was freaking out.
Oh, ass shit.
She said that shouldn't, she was like, they shouldn't do that to me. She was like, and I don't know what team you play for, but but she tried to use a reference, an analogy, like, I don't know what team you play for, but I'm sure if that, other team did that, put their stuff in your bench or whatever. I was like, first of all, I don't play for a team, but like instantly thought I was a basketball player or some type of sport player just because I was the only black in first class.
Bro, that has happened to me every time I've ever been in first class. It's, who do you play for? Are you an entertainer?
Yeah.
Because I typically have on my own brand stuff. So, what, you in the entertainment business? And
you got any tickets?
It used to be a time where I would get so mad at motherfuckers. No, motherfucker. Right. I'm a real estate. And then I just got tired of explaining to people shit that we shouldn't.
But we do it to ourselves though. Like I said again, we can't even get mad at white people for it. That's what I say all the time, because we idealize, sports people.
Whoa!
So how can we get mad?
Wait.
You can't drag niggas. You can't drag niggas to empower themselves, but they'll spend every last dollar to go see somebody play basketball or football.
What I said, we'll spend $500 on a bottle and another $500 on a section, but then we don't have life insurance, bro. We don't have,
and I'm not helping you get GoFundMe.
No GoFundMe.
I'm not doing. I'm not doing your spaghetti.
And I'm learning not to say. I'm learning. I spoke to is it Mr. King over there?
Yeah, Curtis. Curtis King.
He said, Tim, you got to be careful with your words. Words mean something. So stop saying everyone or all of us. So I'm gonna say a great percentage of us.
I don't use absolute. I never say like the nevers or all, but I'll say like a majority of us or da da da.
Shit, I always do. but the point is, it's like if we can
double down, huh?
At some point in the game, it shouldn't be on one or two family members to bail you out, because what happens is, I made a post about a month ago, and I said, I understand that one uncle who doesn't come around anymore.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Okay, look. So I would say this. One of my friends from college, he soon as he was from Detroit, and his living conditions, when I actually saw where he was living at when he was in college, it was like, I mean by like a comforter as a front door. Like, this is like extreme poverty, like real. And Detroit get cold. So when I say this,
that's an understatement,
right? It's so cold in the D. So when I say this man did what he needed to do, because he said he would never come back and live in a situation like that again. Now he works at one of the major banks as he makes probably $400,000 or $500,000 annually a year. But he never goes back home not because forget where you came from, because he remembers too well. Where he came from.
Shit. I know we done put a lot of pins, right, but let's talk about that, man, because there's this guilt factor within the black community that when you have money, you have to save everybody. If you don't save everybody, you're abandoning your people.
Yeah.
If you move away, you're a coon or you're an Uncle Tom. And I always laugh when people say Uncle Tom, because if you actually read the fucking book, you would realize that you're making the wrong reference. You should be calling me a Sambo. But that's another thing. You got to read the book. And then when you do come back, we get pushed away. Like, you know, I've been teaching these classes, and this is that part of the show where I always tell people how I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to educate my people on how to buy property, how I've helped people get out of jail. I've helped people expunge their records, and I'm teaching people specifically, do this, do this, do this, do that, Will, and they won't do it.
Absolutely.
But then when it's like, well, fuck, if I stop teaching it, then it's like, Tim, we need you. Well, damn it, I've been teaching this shit for over a decade, and you've been pushing me away.
And you'll still give the opportunity to teach it. But like I said, it gets, for those of us, like I said, I'm speaking for you as well, who are always that person to bail people out, we get tired.
That shit get old.
It's exhausting, it's draining. So it's like, and I see why, like a lot of people, you know, I'm the first person to send you the voicemail or ignore your call altogether, because it does get exhausting, because at some point, I'm here to help, but I'm not going to be a hindrance for you. And if I see like you're not trying to change the situation, I can't help you anymore.
So I pin this theory, and I call it the 1% of the 1%. Essentially, when you think about the 1%, everybody's talking about 1% of the people control 99% of the world. That's not what I'm talking about. What I talk about is within our community, you have to focus on the 1% of the 1%. And if you think about from the United States perspective, there's 350 million people, right? Mm-hmm. 1% of that is 3.5 million. 1% of that is 35,000. Stop trying to convert people that you have to convince. Like, focus on the people who buy into specifically what you're selling and focus on them. No one else, because what happens is they're going to have a 1% of the 1%. They're going to have 1%. And the change will start being created by people who actually want to do the work. And you know this. You know, like, I'm saying this because I want you to tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay, I will.
I'm willing to bet that when you started telling people what it was you were doing, they weren't really fucking with you like that.
Oh, no, you're 100%. And I think also that I will say that today, I've never been a social media person.
I fucking hate social media.
Right. So people always thought that, oh, these big events you do, you need to put that on social media. People need to see that. But
your main page, you don't even add everybody to that. Like,
you saw that, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Because I'm having to learn social media. Like, I hate social media.
So I have somebody who does my business social media now. I don't even do it myself. Yeah. But the thing about that was, I told them my clientele is not Shaniqua doing a baby shower. It's not Ray and Tanya's wedding. That's not my clientele. So I only do businesses.
Do you get criticized for that?
Yes.
Talk about it.
Oh.
Talk about it.
I get criticized for it because they think I should lower my rates in order to be able to accommodate their situation. But I have a standard. Mm-hmm. So most of my events, the lowest I go is for your budget is like $100,000, unless I believe in the project. Okay. Because my fee itself is not cheap.
It's not.
So I can't. So my fee alone is what most people's budgets are. Mm. So it's like, why would I can't do your wedding and anything like that, because again, I'm not going to. It's about the standard. I'm not going to cut corners. I'm not going to water down, because when I put on your production, it may be your event, but it's still a part of my brand.
It's your image. Right. It's your brand.
It's my brand. Yeah. So I won't do anything if it's going to jeopardize my brand. And I've turned down projects all
so bougie nigga turning down shit. Is that what they say to you?
They do, but it's like, what you, because it's like even companies be like, well, we hate our last person, they weren't It's like, okay, cool, how much you paying them? Oh, we're paying them. Well, I'm 10 times that. Oh, I can't. Well, you hate that process.
Oh shit.
So if you hate that, then if you want something better, guess what? You have to pay for it, right?
And too often in our community, we brag on overpaying for shit that.
Why is this live? Because Neandre is like, let's go ahead and just FaceTime him.
Neandre, what are you doing, bro? We shooting the podcast.
I don't give a fuck, nigga. Happy birthday to my nigga Will, bro.
He said happy birthday.
Thanks, bro.
I'm gonna keep this in too.
We go on the podcast. Like, I ain't gonna say where I'm at. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you definitely at the beach. You say you flexing on us.
I apologize.
I'm not even gonna edit this shit out, bro.
My bad, bro. My bad, bro. I didn't know y'all were working.
You good, man. You good, man.
We appreciate it. But you called like 3 times, so I didn't know it was like. I'm like, you okay?
I thought you still gallivanting.
Oh no, I'm not through Europe.
He thought it was a hostage situation. He said, "Man, this dude needs some ransom money." Damn.
I'll let that go.
Okay, all right, bro. All right, bye.
Dre's a good brother, man. Dre's a good brother. But let's talk about what were we saying before? Shit, I lost my train of thought.
See. Look, I'm here to keep up. So we were talking about how. Hey, well, I had it too.
No, we were talking about knowing your value and knowing when to subscribe to certain things, and essentially, like I said, people will brag about overpaying for a name brand.
Yeah.
I've seen people sit down with me.
Let me drink some water. Go ahead.
I've seen people sit down. I've had people sit down with me or reach out to me for a consult. They saw me speak. Now, here's the thing. You've already validated me because you came to the event that I was at. I spoke. You pulled me to the side. You told me you love what I was talking about. I'm telling you, my tagline is retired at 37, so I clearly know what the fuck I'm doing. Former zoning commissioner. My credentials add up, right? You can literally show up to my city and see the impact that I've made, not only just in my business, but literally in my city. But when it comes time to, hey, well, this is my fee. Oh man, damn, that's a little bit expensive. But you talking to me, you got on, what I'm saying, some $400 shoes. I go to, and this is what I do, bro. You laughed earlier, but I like going to people's page and seeing, how their lifestyle is, like who they are.
Yeah.
And then I ask, and I never bring that up. I never say, well, damn, you doing all this? I just say, well, man, that's my price.
Right.
And then a year or two will go by, and I'll see those people still in the same place. Literally asking the next guru for the same help, and I just start trolling that shit. Like at some point in the game, like I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I think this your thing, huh? Let people know.
Yeah,
you gotta let them know.
Hundreds, because niggas always
the hair turn. You gotta the hair turn.
Niggas always come in my comments and say, "Well, what have you done?" And so it's not worth it.
Niggas gonna talk anyway. You can run down a plethora of day to day how much you've given to another nigga, and
it ain't good enough. Man.
That's why I said I've been stopped listening to niggas. So because niggas ain't helping me pay my bills.
There's a difference between niggas and black folks.
I tried to explain this to a white woman today, which is crazy.
Man, don't be giving out the secrets.
Because it's like one of my clients, I'm trying to help them understand because I can't even say the client, I can't say what it is.
Please don't, man.
But we're trying to help her understand because I'm the only black who sit on the board. So I was trying to help them because we're having an issue with some crime and things of that nature. And we had some events that were geared towards I call it black is the category.
Right.
You got African Americans and then you got niggas. That's how I separate it. So we had some events and it was like, oh wow, because we had African Americans in the building. I said, so you got to understand there's a difference. We try to do programming events that's not geared to the niggas, but we want to make sure we bring in African Americans. It's a large segment of us. You know what I'm saying? There's more niggas.
There's more black people. Specifically, I like to say this. The niggas make up about 20% of black folks, but the niggas get more shine because they be with the nigga shit.
You say 20%?
What would you get the percentage of?
Disagree. I was having this conversation with other people.
Would you flip it?
I would say, I would say 70-30.
All right, so let me ask you this.
Okay.
All right. And the only reason I want to ask you is because, we don't fall into the category of niggas, right? When you get around successful black people, right, do you see a lot of nigga shit?
No.
Okay. So, do you know a lot of successful black people?
Yes.
Okay. Typically, the portrait of successful black people are what categories? When you see them on television, when you see them in publications.
Oh, rappers and entertainers.
Entertainers, right?
Mm-hmm. And basketball players, entertainers, yeah.
So would you say there's more successful business black people there are out there than entertainers and athletes? Just from your experience. I know,
but I have done, I've on both sides of the spectrum because all the events that I deal with a lot of entertainers and athletes and too. So it's hard for me to say. I would say they're definitely more educated and successful general black people than there are entertainers and athletes.
Okay.
I think they make more money quicker, obviously, because of what
Absolutely.
they do. But like a lot of them, those are still niggas. They plucked from Niggerville and they just put they just put it in
It's gonna be some white people, some non-black people watching. It's like, Niggerville, is that a city in Alabama?
They just put into a mansion, but their mannerisms, their behaviors, and all that, and that's the fact that I can't stand about our people, because we glorify and look up to that nonsense.
It's nigga shit.
Yeah,
we glorify, and it's like, for me, I will say in business, not in Dallas. Well, I'm not gonna say not in Dallas, because Dallas is not a black city. A lot of people don't know Dallas is not a black city, right? Stretch the imagination, but I deal with a lot of wills. I deal with a lot of, people who have their shit together. But most of the people like you and me, we in the shadows. We don't want to be seen. And so the more I get into these rooms, the more I meet people like us, and the common denominator is, I hate social media. I don't like to be in the shadows. And that's trauma, in my opinion, because we understand that once people know everything we fucking doing, it puts a target on us, and the people that are around us are gonna want more. I hate to say it, bro.
It's true, and that's why it's funny. I used to get asked to do a lot of stuff. I still do, and I told myself I'm gonna start doing more, because you're right. It is trauma. It is like, I'm like, I like what I do. I like to be able to do what I do, but I don't like all that. I don't like the attention.
They don't respect what we do.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm not trying to hear. And then it's the people, saying I'm become more mature in my years ago, about my birthday today. So
how old are you, man?
I'm 36.
Okay.
So I get more mature as years go by. But it's like, it's the need before to have to respond to every comment. The need to be like, well, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Let me let you know. But now I let people just talk, because it doesn't matter what you do, how you do it. They're going to talk.
I'm 39. This is my last year of my 30s. If I haven't learned shit during my 30s, is that people are going to talk.
Yeah.
I could literally save, a litter of kittens from a burning house, and somebody be like,
forget the litter of kittens. You could save 1,000 black people, and they still gonna say something about you,
bro. Let me tell you something, man. I'll never forget. We did something when we were paying off people's, we were helping people expunge their records, and so again, I'm a small company. It's just me, right? So I paid for, I think it was at the time, 5 people. Oh, you think that ain't a lot of people? According to all the people that's done been locked up, that ain't even a drop in the bucket. And my question was,
how many have you done? What
the fuck have you done? And that's the take that so I used to always go into the comments, and every now and then, if I get a viral video like I don't believe in gentrification, that video is everywhere. Yeah. I'll go into
I saw that
video.
I saw the comments. I said, damn, they ripping this nigga new one.
It's 50-50 though, right?
Yeah,
either they agree or they don't. But typically, it's that poor mindset of people who don't own real estate or don't have a desire to own real estate, who are on that we need to do better and get people to do right by us mindset. But I say all that to say, I'm learning at 39 to not give a fuck about, like, I don't even respond anymore because they're not my target audience. They don't fall into that 1% of the 1%. To the point where at one point I would just go in the comments and say, "You're not my target audience." And then
that's giving energy to it anyway.
It's still giving energy to it, right? It's that petty I'm a Cancer, man. We specialize in petty.
But the older you get, that's the most, when you become secure in yourself, honestly, that's like the best gift ever. Because like you said, you don't give a fuck. And I said, and I've never been, like, for years, like, I've always been that person where as long as I'm cool with myself, I don't give a fuck about what you care about.
And there's levels to not giving a fuck.
Yes.
Because in my early 30s, it was like, nigga, I don't give a fuck.
Right.
And now I'm 30, I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's less aggression.
It's less aggression.
less aggression.
I'm still mad at you for explaining the difference between niggas and black folks to the white lady.
I'm in a boardroom. I'm in a boardroom full of white people. I mean, these is like, I can't even give no names.
You're the go-to black guy, though.
Yeah, I am. Because, like I said, and I feel like I'm not because I am a dark-skinned white man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am truly an advocate for my people, but I also understand that our people sabotage ourselves as well.
We do a lot of self-sabotage, and we also have one thing that I've been talking about lately, Will, is we have these unrealistic expectations, or we expect an unrealistic outcome that's not real in the business world, right? I remember I used to be in corporate America, and I always worked in management. I was a corporate trainer, traveled all over the world, and it was like, I would always feel like I had to represent black people.
Yeah.
And so when I would go into these rooms and I felt like I would be getting disrespected, I would check people on the spot. But what I realized is that you can't be the only black person in the room checking everybody on the spot, because you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna get rid of your
black ass. Like bring in one, right? Who's going to confide?
Bring that nigga who said, "Hey, I just shut up, boss."
Right, exactly.
And that's literally why I've been fired from most of my jobs. But then I realized that even when I said I'm gonna work for myself, Will, it was still the same thing. Me feeling like I needed to represent everyone. And all I really have to do is represent myself, and the people who are attracted to what I'm doing, they're going to be attracted to me. Yep. You can't change the minds of niggas. Like that nigga mindset, it can't be unniggered.
No.
You know what I'm saying? It can't be unniggered, man.
But no, I think we have responsibility. Like I said, that's what for me, I don't check these people, but I like to educate them, because they do say some stuff that'd be like, well, hold on a minute. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I would be like, but it's to me, like, let's unpack that. Let's understand. I'm more patient because, again, I get it. I understand how we communicate about our own people. So, of course.
But we can't say that out loud.
What?
If you and I say that out loud, it's taboo.
Oh yeah,
you're talking down on your people. Like at some point,
but we need to have the conversation.
We gotta have a conversation, bro. And it's got to be received. It can't be a situation where people think, because this is what we do. Mm-hmm. Me and you will come back with a blueprint, and then we'll get discredited. Well, y'all niggas is different. You know, everything worked out for you. You came up with money, or you went to the military. Like you're saying all this shit that essentially is rooted in people taking action to create their own narrative.
Right.
So at some point again, we got to take action to create our own narrative without, I know somebody gonna get mad at me, but without playing a victim role.
Yeah, and that's why I use examples of my friends who came from nothing, who came from a comforter, literally as a door, who now makes $400,000. So it's like, what you gonna say about that person? They didn't come from money. They didn't go in the military. They just chose, I can't live how I used to live.
The allegory of the cave.
Right. I'm not doing this no more. I would never go back to the way I used to live. And that's my friends like, hell no. I'll never be poor again.
Hell no, we won't go.
We won't go. We won't be poor no more.
So let's segue into the reason why I brought you here.
Okay, because I don't even know. We just talking.
Like, shit, I don't know. But you came. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
So I went to an event put on by Black Menswear, the Black Wealth Renaissance. I think the Black Man Can. Who else was it?
In the Dad Gang.
In the Dad Gang. Sorry, I'm not trying to omit nobody.
No, I got you. I'm here for that.
Bro, I've spoken at a lot of events. I've been flown to speak out of town. This was by far the most well-organized, well-ran event, well-produced event that I've ever partaken in. And I'm not saying that just to be saying it. Like, I've spoke on some platforms with some blue check people that are doing some amazing things, and it wasn't touching what you were doing. And in fact, I ain't gonna say nothing specific because I know people listening. I don't want nobody to think I'm shit on them, but I want you to talk about, one, why it's so important as a black man in your craft, in your business, to one, present what you present at such a high level. But two, to, bring others into the fold so that they can also create presentations like yours, because there's no point in just having one Sir Will. There needs to be hundreds of us that are represented.
100%.
Yes, sir. Please do.
Okay, so, and I always start this off by saying, when I started my career, I started with white people. So there was a florist who identified what I did. He was a florist. He did all the top-notch white stuff, like billionaires events, stuff like that. Again, I can't really name names because of NDAs and stuff like that, but he did a lot of stuff. So he's very impressed by me. So he would handle the floor arrangements, and he needed an event person for it, and I would run the event. So I saw from the very beginning how if the invitation said 5 o'clock, the whole party is there by 4:45. Like, everyone's there. It's like, we're ready. And
I'm not going to even interrupt that, because 5 o'clock means 6:30.
Like I said, and I saw how meticulous and everything was just ran a certain type way, because I was doing stuff for multimillionaires and billionaires. So when I decided to pivot and to help my people, I came with that same structured mindset. So for it, when I do galas, I do anything, whatever, for black people, I put on the invitation. I mean it. Doors closed, gates closed, whatever, at 30 minutes after, because we need to learn when it's a plated dinner what that means. You can't just show up at any time you think you want to show up and expect the service to bring you a plate. That's not how this works.
Bro, I literally equate that to catching a flight.
Yeah.
Like you have to have that catch a flight mentality. That plane's 95% on time rate with every airline.
They gonna leave.
That gate is gonna close 10 minutes before that
and let's
plane
use
goes.
their favorite Carnival cruise. Well, I'm such a racist.
Elite ass. I got in trouble for that. Me and this dude was going back and forth on social media. He's one of them "what have you done" niggas, and we grew up together, so I knew he hadn't done shit. And I said, listen, man, I know he gonna probably watch this, but it is what it is. I said, listen, man, after I tore his ass up, I said, now listen, I know you got to get on Groupon to get your Carnival Cruise, ticket for your family, so I'm gonna let you go. And I got like 35 text messages like, you ain't shit for that one.
No, but nothing's wrong with Carnival. Let me stop. I guess no. But anyway, but if they say we're gonna leave this port,
people know what you mean, though. Everybody knows what you mean when you say that.
People gonna leave. If they gonna leave that port at that time, they're leaving that port at that time. And like I said, the fact that we believe that we can just come and do whatever the hell we want to do, whatever time frame, that doesn't work for my functions and events. So, and I've always made it structured where we're going to have it the same level in class as those as our counterparts. We have to. The day of, again, I say the plastic linen, the backyard Baptist events, dead. So I always try to make sure that our functions are, like I said, elite, are upscale, are extravagant.
Let me say something. You know what's so funny about that, Will?
What?
Is that when we do arrive to those events, we'll shit on it the whole time, right? But then when you have someone like yourself that's providing an elite event, then we criticize how it costs too much.
Yeah.
Or how, it's trying to be like this or be like that. Well, damn, you damn if you do, damn if you don't.
And I say, them people who want to say that, you can stay at home. I mean, honestly, you can go to, what we had to watch. You
better watch. You say for them people be watching, we were going to hire him. No, it's real. No. And as black people, and I'm going to put this on the wide camera, we have to be able to say, I'm not for everyone.
Yeah. 100%. And I've learned that a long time ago.
How often does Gucci have a sale?
Right.
Never. Mm-hmm. They don't have sales at Gucci, Louis Vuitton. They don't have. Last time I went to the Rolex spot, there were no watches on sale.
It was no Black Friday.
There's no Black Friday for these places, right? So I don't do them either, right?
Yeah.
Why do I have to discount myself, or why do I have to take less money? And too often in black communities, specifically with professionals like you and I, not you and I specifically, but
no, you and I, we do have people ask me for discounts too.
Well, what I'm about to say is we don't give them.
Oh no,
right? and it's like somebody reached out to me recently. It was a bank, and they wanted me to speak. And the lady was like, "Hey, they want you to speak. Yeah, what's your price?" And so I gave her my price, and she did the most gangster shit. And I know she gonna be watching this. She said, "I'm gonna ask for a couple $1,000s more because I know what they pay people to come speak." Mm-hmm. And I thought my shit was good. I had to reassess my whole life after that conversation.
Let me tell you, and I appreciate this one because I was doing my biggest break was this festival, and when I tell you I went through negotiations or whatever, and before I was making like $1,000, $1,500 event, I was like geeked to make that, right? So for this festival, I'm thinking, okay, if I come into my 5,000, whatever, then I'll be good. I'm so happy that the woman who was in charge of that process was a sister because she told me, she was like, how much you want? I said 5. She said, okay. And then she came back. She called me like on her personal phone. She called me. She said, I want to let you know that it's 50,000 for that role. Shit. Not 5,000. So I need you to email me and say you want, 50,000.
That's literally what the young lady did for me.
Yeah.
And this is me being who I am, charging what I charge. And I talk to somebody who does what I do, and they start off at 10,000. He like, you kind of shortchange yourself.
Yeah.
He told me, we did this exercise. He said, I want you to think about your product that you're the best at. He said, now, how about you charge people $500 for it? Okay. Okay, then once you charge them $700, okay. Once you charge them $1,000, okay. So he just kept going up the ladder. And then when I heard a price and laughed at it, he said,
that's what you should put. That's what it should be.
That's what it should be.
Yeah.
He said, see, you don't realize what your value is. You're laughing at a price that there's literally somebody out there who will pay for it. And I was giving away shit. And I realized that the people that I'm giving away to, one, you got to work extra hard.
But I think it's the black guilt that we feel, especially when it's our own people. And I feel like I don't lower my price for other people. But when it comes to our people, I'd be like, damn, I want to help you out. Like, I said, I want you to experience how this should go.
I want to show you my inbox right now. This gentleman reached out to me. He's like, Tim, he took my credit course. Mm-hmm. He says, man, I want to start some credit training. I don't know where to start. Can you help me? Now I give my shit away for free. The fact that he reached out to me lets me know he respects me. You know what I responded to him? I said, take my course and you can literally steal my course and rebrand it. I don't give a fuck. It's there. Like, take it. Just don't do X, Y, and Z because the payment processors will ding you if you do. I literally gave him the blueprint to start the business. I could have charged that dude $5,000 for 5 hours. But literally, I saw in him that he could do it. Now, is he going to do it? I don't know. But if he does and he wants more guidance, then we can have a conversation about, okay, now do it this specific way. But I literally gave him 80% of what he needs to do. And I feel you when you say, you know, I feel some kind of way, or I feel sorry for you, or I see some in him, because there's nothing wrong with throwing a oop for somebody. Yeah. That's the barrier of entry. Right. And if you catch it and you slam it down, I don't know why the fuck I'm making a basketball analogy. But I'd be mad. If it was a white person making this analogy, I'd be mad as fuck. Right? But you get it, though, because you talk.
What team you on right now? So go ahead.
No, but when you're working with your people, if people see that you're serious, they don't mind helping you.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. Like I say, even since I've been here, I have gone to stuff and people, and I've given them a lot of free game. Like, hey, you doing this at this level, and even like people think, oh man, I should be here. But to be honest, if you haven't yet mastered the lower level that you're on, and I try to explain that to people, I'm like, okay, because you think this is good for this demographic of people who are not used to nothing. This is not good for a person like me who have come and done events all over in LA and New York. If you did this type of event in New York and LA, you would never be back in that city. So I try to tell people, like, this is the focus you need to have, is because you haven't mastered the lower level. People want to skip up to level 5, but you have yet to master level 1.
You can't handle level 5 problems.
Yeah.
And I tell people that, like, people go broke. They don't go broke with buying certain things. They go broke with the maintenance. You know what I'm saying? I'll never forget a friend of mine bought a Benz. And this was her first time owning a luxury car, and we joked about it. And I had just bought my Lexus, right? And so 6 months, 3.5 months go by. 6 months go by. She comes in. She's like, Tim, did you know that you can't rotate the tires on this car? I was like, what do you mean? She was like, I went in for an oil change and a tire rotation, and they told me that I couldn't rotate the tires. I have to get a brand new set of tires for this car. It was an E-Class.
Yeah.
She said, Tim, they're like $1,200. I said, that's the maintenance. It's not the product, it's the maintenance.
It's the maintenance.
When you expect to get in on level 5, you better be ready for those level 5 problems, because a level 5 problem will cost you thousands of dollars.
Absolutely.
It's not just calling the recreation center and asking if you can move.
But yeah, it's just, and I said, and I always try, and I will always give people like action plans. Like, hey, if you want to move, especially in this industry, because I've been in it a while and I'm on a higher level. I'm like, okay, once you solidify and get out of level 1, these are the things you need to do to get out of level 1 first. And then let's get to level 2. But you're not ready for level 1 more. But people think they honestly ready to do big productions, and it's like you would fall flat on your face. You would like, and never in this industry. People think it's big, but it's super small. Vendors and venues and stuff will drag you, like, and you would never get another function. Like, it's crazy how I see some people blackball, and some people know I blackball them, but it's very easy.
It's a gatekeeper business.
It kind of is.
And you know what's so funny? Because I'm looking at a space and we needed 5,000 people. And I know it's your birthday. We're going to wrap up in about 5 minutes. I promise you. I went to the first space and I told him what I was looking for. He says, Tim, I'm going to be straightforward with you. Us, and he named 3 other people, are the only people that can accommodate you in this city. He says, so I'm going to give you a price and you go see those other 3 people and then come back and see me. It was the realest shit in the world. And I literally went to the other people and they were like, oh yeah, you talked to such and such over there. Tell them I said what's up, because we all know each other. Yeah. So in your business?
Small. It's very, very small.
Shit, it's small.
And then like I said, and this one guy, again, I wish I could be more transparent.
No, don't say his name.
No, don't say no. I wish I could be transparent, but I can't. But there's this one guy, he did a particular function, and I just know from all the different venues, now it's going to be extremely challenging for him to do the function again, because of, I tell anybody, it's not about the outcome, it's the journey to that outcome. And people think, oh, the end results was really good and da-da-da-da-da-da, but the hell you have put everyone through to get to that final event, that matters too. And people don't think about that, but that's where you get blackballed in this industry.
Relationships.
100%.
All right, so we finna wrap it up on this. It's your birthday again. Happy birthday, y'all. In the comments, type happy birthday to this guy. He's a good brother.
This will be a week later, so it won't even matter.
2 weeks, actually.
So don't do it.
But still, no. I know people that celebrate their birthday all month. Them damn Leos celebrate their damn birthday the whole fucking month.
We do it from the 1st to the 15th, and then we good.
The 1st to the 15th.
We good after that.
So, 10 years, if you can go back and talk to 26-year-old Sir Will, what would be the advice that you would give him about some of the things that you've experienced in life, some of the mistakes, some of the mishaps, some of the, the things that if you could do it over again, that you would talk to him. Like, my favorite movie, one of my favorite movies is Back to the Future. Mm-hmm. My favorite one is the episode part 2, when Biff goes back and talks to younger Biff, gives him the almanac, and then he goes and plays all the sports games, and he becomes this better where he wins billions of dollars and he controls the world. What would you go back? What would be your Biff moment? What would you say to yourself?
Don't be so trusting. I think that has cost me a lot of pain, anguish, dollars, time, energy, all the above. I am that person that people come to when they have something. I want to open up this. I want to open up that. I want to open up this. And I'm that person who helped them open it up, if it's money, if it's my time, whatever. And then I always get screwed in the end of it. So I think that would be for me, don't be so trusting. I think that has gotten me, now it's like you have to prove it to me a little bit, more now than it was back then. Yeah, it's definitely, because I've heard it all before. I've heard all the, so you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And that's for clients too. And people who want to take, sit down and talk to you, oh man, we could do da-da-da-da-da-da. Prove it to me.
That's not just with black folks.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely. That's what I say. Now for me, before I used to trust people's word and be like, okay, you want to do this event? I'm starting the process. I'm getting all this stuff before I even get. Now I don't do shit until I get a deposit. I'm not doing nothing. No, I can't meet with you and your crew and your team and all that. No, I can't check out these venues with you. No, I can't start to put a budget together. No, because people will take what you got, take it from you, and then not pay you $1. So now it's like we had an initial conversation, 30 minutes. Hey, what you want to do? This is my fee. I think the budget should be this. And then I'm going to send you the contracts and the invoice. As soon as you pay it, then we can have these meetings and have these conversations. Until the end, nothing to talk about.
That's some good ass advice.
Yeah.
I can definitely subscribe to that. The only time that I find myself volunteering my time and giving more of my time when it's time to scale up. And I know that typically these people would charge me thousands of dollars to learn this shit.
Yeah.
So then I volunteer my time and make myself available as a resource, and I learn on the way up. But I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Like,
it's always like you said, it's always things, right? There's always exceptions to the rule, especially because again, if I feel something is going to be a good value to me.
At this point in the game, you can spot that shit quick.
Oh, 100%.
Like you can spot this shit a mile away, can't you?
And I would say this: there was a particular client last week who sought me out through my social channels or whatever, contacted me, wanted to meet. And again, from the beginning, I'm very open about my fee, right? Very open from the beginning. So, this might be a little bit too much for us. Cool, no problem. I'm not the person for you. Good. And people don't like that. They don't like that.
I don't know if I'm gonna title this shit. I'm not the person for you. Or you said something else, and I said, "Damn, that should be the title."
Yeah. But people, especially our people, they don't like to be like, "Oh, you think I can't afford you?" And it's like, no, you can't, and that's fine. Like it's not. There's nothing wrong with that. You can't afford me. So anyway, then we met.
I'm bringing you back for a second. I'm bringing you back for a second episode.
We met. And then, so I'm telling him what it was, the cost, whatever, the whole budget. He kind of like, whoa, so I was like, that's what it is. But again, if you can't, I'm cool. And I'm packing my stuff up, I'm gone. Then he like, no, we got it. So then he was like, let me walk to your car. So he was like, I'm trying to see what you drive, because he drove an expensive car. So I'm like, okay, clearly you'd be able to do this. So I say, okay, text me back your information so I can write up this contract, da-da-da. So Friday go by, didn't hear nothing. Saturday, didn't hear nothing. Sunday, I call, didn't hear nothing. So at this point, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
I know at this point you're full of shit. So then by that following Monday, I get it, oh, I'm sorry, won't be able to da-da-da-da-da-da. So it's like, you're right. I knew that Thursday, but I was like calling his bluff to see, if,
it's really going to be about that life. That's that barrier of entry. You all need to understand that a barrier of entry will weed out a lot of people.
Yeah.
When people ask me if they can pick my brain, let me show you how petty I am. I have this link on my calendar called Pick My Brain. You can pick my brain for 15 minutes for $297, right? And I know that some people, I've had people cuss my ass out when I send them that link. But it's just like, if this is how you're going to act when I tell you my value, you damn sure ain't going to do right.
And then having that discernment, like I say, where you can just know and tell, like, again, once you're doing something for a while, you can tell people, like, you got some clients of mine, when I say, you know, before I even look, I wired you the money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just know the difference. Those who going to crawl and cry versus those who sent. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a difference.
And there you have it.
It's
you
a
guys,
difference.
Listen, I hope
I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna be back.
No, you're definitely coming back.
I'm gonna be back.
Listen, you guys, it's important for me to put people like Will in front of you. You guys know my philosophy. One, I don't bring people around who just are gonna agree with me, but I also want you to be exposed to people who have exposure to everything else. Right? We got to start having these conversations. We got to have the tough conversations about us culturally. That's what this whole No More OGs platform is about. Like cleaning up our own house so that we can go and dominate outside of our house. But Will, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you for coming. I know it's your birthday. I know you're finna go out there and turn up. But hey, where can everybody find you?
So you can follow me on Instagram at Sir4th, SIR 4OURTH _events.
Okay.
That's where you can follow me at. Sir4th _events.
All right. Well, listen, y'all, that's all we have for today. I want to thank you for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, share. Will's information will be in the comments section or in the description of this podcast. Until then, you guys, you know, we don't have any more OGs. It's up to us to provide the instruction and the direction to our people, specifically from people who are doing what they say, promote, and who actually have boots on the ground. So that's all I got for you today. I'm Tim Jackson. I'm your host. I'll see you soon.